On a typical morning at work, my Outlook inbox might start off looking like this. And if you could just give me 5 minutes. My main inbox is now empty and I can focus my time on follow-up, waiting, and read-through emails. Want to get to inbox zero? Let's get started. All right, if you're not familiar with the Inbox Zero workflow, there are 2 big benefits. First, you'll never again get distracted by emails you have already dealt with. And second, this workflow makes it impossible for you to miss important emails. In this video, we'll first run through the setup process for Microsoft Outlook, then go through the workflow you'll use to get to Inbox Zero every single day, and end with some drawbacks because the original Inbox Zero workflow was designed with Gmail in mind. All right, we'll first go to settings up here, turn off focused inbox, change the display density to cozy, group into conversations, and choose the newest on top for arrange the reading pane. And although this is a personal preference, I like to have the reading pane show on the right here. By the way, the steps I'm going through today is for the free version of Outlook on the web, and everything can be undone. So you can always go back to the unproductive workflow where your inbox is always overflowed. I'll come up with better jokes. Now let's click into view all settings, and under mail layout, scroll all the way down, and under what do you want to happen when you move or delete the item you are viewing, select open the previous item. Sounds weird, but trust me on this. And under what do you want us to do when you first sign in, let me select which message to read first. Save settings. Then let's head on over to the general tab, and under categories, create 5 categories for now. I've already created a follow-up, waiting, read through to save time, and I've added the 01, 02, and 03 here to make sure they're pinned up on top. For the blue category, let's just change this to trips. Save. And for the orange category, let's change this to newsletter and add an emoji. For Mac is command control space. Email to really spice it up, and let's change the color to a gray and click save. So you should now be left seeing this. Next step, favorite all 5 of these categories like this. Then go to the accessibility tab to make sure the Outlook keyboard shortcut option is selected, and save settings. Going down to search, make sure the search scope is all folders when searching from the inbox, and uncheck show top 3 most relevant results here, and click save settings. I have no idea why Microsoft even has this as an option, because if you keep this checked and you search for an email, the same email shows up twice. So it's a really confusing user experience. Anyways, after making those changes and everything is saved, click escape to go back to the main inbox view. Make sure the inbox folder is favorited, then go to the sent items folder and favorite that as well. I'm going to drag the sent items up here. So now you should see inbox, sent items, and the 5 categories in the favorite section up top. Quick vocab lesson before moving forward. Categories is the equivalent of labels in Gmail, and what Microsoft calls rules is just the filter function within Gmail. Sticking with the Microsoft jargon in this video, there are 2 types of categories we need to know to make Inbox Zero work in Outlook: pre-categories and action category. Newsletter and trips are examples of pre-categories. To illustrate, find a newsletter in your inbox. I hear this productivity ping one is simply amazing. Go to the 3 dots here, advanced actions, create rule, and select more options. Name the rule up here, and in under add a condition, make sure it's from the email address of the newsletter sender, and select an action, categorize, select the category newsletter, and click save. What this does is the next time you receive an email from that sender, the newsletter category will be automatically applied when the email hits your inbox. Hence the name pre-category. This will save us a lot of time because we'll never have to manually tag newsletters and trip confirmation emails ever again. Moving on to action categories. The guiding principle here is that there are only 4 types of actions you will ever take with any kind of email. First, follow-up emails are when you are responsible for the outcome and only you can take action. For example, your boss asks you a question that you know the answer to. Waiting emails are for when you are still responsible for the outcome, but you need someone else to take action. For example, your manager wants you to prepare a presentation, but you need input from another colleague. The read-through category is applied to emails you need to consistently refer back to in the future. For example, industry reports or a new reimbursement process for travel expenses. All other types of emails can be archived. Now that everything is set up, let's jump into a realistic workflow. When you open up Outlook first thing in the morning, you actually want to start from the bottom and work your way up. The first email is a company-wide announcement. I read it, there's no action I need to take on my side, so I press E to archive. Notice that Outlook jumped automatically to the next, more recent unread email. And this is because we had the jump to previous conversation option enabled from before, right? The naming is counterintuitive. I don't know why Microsoft does this, but it works. This next email is the amazing productivity newsletter that everyone can't seem to shut up about. This has been pre-categorized, so the newsletter tag has been applied when the email hit my inbox, right? So after I read it, I can press E to archive again, and I can still quickly access it when I click on the newsletter category. Pro tip, you can click on the keyboard shortcut G and I to go back to the main inbox from anywhere within Outlook. This next email is the reservation confirmation from Marriott, and it's been pre-categorized with the trips category. I can safely archive this, press E, knowing that if I need to refer to it, I can just click on the trips category. This next email is an interesting one because Mr. Nutella is asking me for something I don't have, but I'm ultimately held responsible because I need to reply, right? So I'm going to press F to forward this email to ask my colleague for help. After sending the email, I'm going to categorize this as waiting by pressing C, start typing waiting, enter, and then press E to archive. The waiting label literally means I will chase these colleagues every single day until they give me what I need. This next email I've just been CC'd on in what seems to be a dick measuring contest between two CEOs with ultra high egos. So I'm just gonna press E to archive. Nothing needed from me. Okay, for this one, I actually need to do some work. It's a request from Elon. Now, it's important to remember the 2-minute rule by David Allen. If action can be taken in 2 minutes or less, I should just take care of it right away. But this research request is going to clearly take more than 2 minutes. So I'm going to press C to categorize, follow up, press enter, and then press E to archive so I can come back to this later. Second to last email is an announcement on the new travel expense process. I currently do not need to expense anything, but I know I will at some point. So I'm just going to categorize this as read through so I can refer to it in the future. C, read through, press enter, and archive. This last email is a curveball because although it looks like a follow-up email, I have to prepare a presentation, right? The due date is actually in a month. And since we don't want this email sitting in the follow-up category for that long, we can actually just press B to snooze this email to a date 1 week before the due date, right? So we can follow up then. Now that all the emails from the main inbox are categorized and archived, I can focus my time on taking action on follow-up emails and chasing people down for waiting emails and going through the rest of the categories as needed. Once a tag is no longer applicable, for example, my colleague replied with information I needed, I can first press E to make sure it's archived and press C, start typing waiting, and press enter to uncategorize it so the email disappears from the waiting label. It's important to note that archive does not mean deleted. You can always find archived emails in the archive folder down here, or you can search for archived emails in the search bar up top. All right, although my example is realistic, it's also oversimplified. So for you to adopt Inbox Zero, I recommend first going through the last 4 weeks of emails, then either tagging those emails with an action category or archiving them directly. And from tomorrow onwards, as long as you follow the workflow I went through just now, you will always have an extremely organized inbox. This leads me to the biggest drawback of Inbox Zero for Outlook, and it really doesn't make sense. In Gmail, no matter how many emails you have, you can select all and archive. So all the emails disappear from the main inbox and shift to the right, allowing you to achieve true Inbox Zero. In Outlook, if you have relatively few emails, you can select all emails in your inbox like so, and archive by clicking Move to Archive Folder. But I found out if you have a lot of emails, I only have 4,000 in this inbox, Outlook will not let you archive in bulk. If you're in this unlucky group, you have 2 options. You can either live with previous emails in your inbox, or you can spend like an hour holding down Shift and bulk selecting emails like this, and then archiving them one batch at a time. Like Microsoft, why though? Second drawback, since Outlook doesn't have a multiple inbox view, you just have to build a habit of clicking through the action categories instead of being able to just scan down like you would in Gmail. Third, and this is the weirdest one, there's no way for us to view categories in the main inbox without favoriting them. For example, if I go to newsletter and I unfavorite it, there's actually nowhere else I can go to see all my newsletters in one place. I would have to add this back as a favorite. Microsoft tries to get around this limitation with the folders feature, but it doesn't work well because an email cannot exist in both the main inbox and a folder at the same time. And the whole point of pre-categories is to see the email land in your main inbox, acknowledge it, then archive it. If you still want to use folders, my recommendation is to create a folder for each pre-category you have. So the next time a pre-categorized email lands in your main inbox, you read it, right? And then you press V, which stands for move, and start typing in newsletter, the folder, press enter. And now you can see all your newsletters in one place. This adds an extra step to the workflow, but at least this allows you to unfavorite all the other categories and allows you to have a really clean sidebar. Last drawback. Within Gmail, when you write a new email, you can actually apply a label/category from the compose window directly. In Outlook, when you write a new email, and let's say you want to apply the waiting category, you actually have to send the email, then go to the send items folder, then press C to start applying the category from there. Congrats, Outlook users. You can now use the Inbox Zero workflow. And as a next step, make sure to check out the top 8 productivity tips for the workplace. See you on the next video. In the meantime, have a great one.